The rangers found the missing girl, but she was still screaming from the bottom of the hole. Some places hold on to sounds, not like an echo, but like a stain. A memory imprinted on the stone and soil. I know because I heard one of those stains speak. And it knew my name. It began with the best of intentions, as these things always do. My friends, Reese, Silas and I, were tackling a 3-day stretch of the Ouachita Trail. We'd done it before, carving out sections of the massive trail piece by piece. This time we started at a public campground, a sprawling affair at the foot of the trailhead. We arrived as the sun was bleeding out behind the mountains, bathing the valley in a syrupy golden light. The place was alive. The air was thick with the smells of a dozen different dinners charring on grills. The high-pitched laughter of kids chasing each other on bikes, the low murmur of conversations from camp chairs. It wasn't my usual scene. I prefer the profound silence of a secluded spot, but the sheer, unbridled life of the place sparked a flicker of nostalgia for old family trips, a comfortable, false sense of security. By the time our tents were up, the world had been swallowed by darkness, leaving only the constellations of countless campfires. We ate hot dogs off sticks and washed them down with a few beers, the easy camaraderie, a warm blanket against the cooling air. We turned in early, ready for the trail. I woke to a world undone. Distant shouts, thin and sharp in the morning chill, pierced the fabric of my dreams. I pushed myself up onto my elbows, listening. The calls were frantic, layered over one another, forming a single, desperate word. Before I could place it, a frantic slapping sound hit the side of my tent. I fumbled with the zipper, my fingers clumsy in the cold, and poked my head out. The air bit at my skin. Reese and Silas were already outside their tents, yanking on their hiking boots with grim faces. "Get dressed, man," Reese said, his voice tight. "What's going on?" "Kid's missing," Silas answered, pulling his laces so hard the leather groaned. "Vanished from her tent sometime last night." My stomach turned to ice. I scrambled back into my tent, pulling on clothes as the shouting grew louder, more organized. More voices had joined the chorus, a haunting refrain that echoed off the mountainside. Alina, Alina, Alina. Every parent's nightmare. I pictured her wandering to the bathroom or waking early to explore the nearby playground. But another, darker part of my mind dredged up stories I'd read late at night. Stories of children who walk into the woods and are never seen again, or are found in places they could never have reached on their own. By the time I emerged, tying my boots in a rush, Reese and Silas were already down the path, their heads scanning the dense, dark tree line as they added their own voices to the call. "Do we know what she looks like?" I asked, jogging to catch up. "Brown hair, blue eyes. 8 years old. Name's Alina." The voice came from behind us. 3 other hikers, a guy and 2 women, all college-aged and geared up, were approaching. Her dad said she was asleep in her tent at 11. Gone when they woke up an hour ago. Her shoes and flashlight are missing too. "They've checked the bathhouse, right?" I asked, nodding towards the squat brick building in the center of the camp. "Yeah, we checked," one of the women said, her expression bleak. "Nothing." The first guy, their apparent leader, stepped forward. "Look, the rangers are trying to get a formal search organized. We're going to start on the trailhead." They gave us the okay. "You guys want to help?" "Absolutely," Reese said, and Silas and I nodded in unison. "Give us 5 minutes to grab our packs." We ran back to our site, shoving water, first aid kits and protein bars into our day packs. I'd stupidly left my main water bottle in the car, but Silas, ever the prepared one, tossed me a spare. We left our tents and gear standing as they were. The hike could wait. As we headed for the trailhead, the chaotic shouting had died down, replaced by the organized hum of rangers directing volunteers. We passed a campsite just off the path and had to look away. A ranger knelt beside a woman who was sobbing into a pink, unicorn-shaped pillow. A deputy was trying to get a coherent sentence out of her frantic husband. The scene was so raw, so full of despair, It felt like a physical blow. We looked at each other, our faces set in grim resolve. We had to find her. Our new companions were Corbin, Lyra, and Orion. All three were experienced outdoorsmen, just like us. We gathered at the large wooden map posted at the entrance to the trails and quickly devised a plan. 3 main paths snagged out from our position. Main Street, an 8-mile loop that eventually connected back to the Ouachita Trail. Baker's Falls, a 4-mile offshoot. And Vista Trail, a steep 5-mile climb straight up the mountain to the north. To cover the most ground, we split into 3 teams of 2. Lyra and Orion took the brutal Vista Trail. Silas and Corbin took Baker's Falls. That left Reese and me with Main Street. We agreed to meet back at the trailhead in 7 hours, which would get us back before dark. Cell service was a joke out here, but we swapped numbers anyway, just in case a stray signal found its way through the trees. The first few hours were a tense, quiet affair. We moved at a steady pace, our calls of Eleanor punctuating the silence. We kept the chatter to a minimum, afraid of missing a faint reply, a snapped twig, anything. The woods felt vast and watchful. It was a beautiful day, the kind I usually live for, with cool air and sunlight dappling through the canopy. But I couldn't appreciate it. Every shadow looked like a discarded jacket, every rustle of leaves a footstep. Around noon, we reached the split for Baker's Falls. Silas and Corbin veered off, their calls fading until we were alone. Reese and I pressed on, the trail beginning to climb more sharply. The grade was punishing, and my breath started to burn in my lungs. I hadn't carried a pack in a few months, and my body was protesting. I saw Reese was flagging too, so I called for a break. We found a shaded spot by a jagged outcropping of rock, shrugged off our packs, and dug out some granola bars. We sat in silence, the sound of our own chewing deafening in the quiet woods. That's when I heard it. At first I thought it was a bird. A strange, high-pitched cry, far off the trail, somewhere behind and above us. I stopped chewing, my jaw frozen mid-bite. I jabbed Reese with my elbow. "Listen, you hear that?" He stilled. A moment passed. Then it came again, clearer this time. A muffled, desperate cry. Unmistakably human. Unmistakably a child. We were on our feet in an instant, our snacks forgotten on the rock. "Alina," we bellowed in unison. A thin, wailing cry answered us. "Hell yes!" "She's up there," Reese shouted, already scrambling around the rocks. We abandoned our packs where they lay, fueled by a surge of adrenaline. "Alina, keep making noise, we're coming," I yelled, my voice cracking. The cries grew stronger as we fought our way up the steep, untamed slope, slipping on loose scree and dead leaves. We were getting close. I could feel it, a thrumming certainty in my chest. Through the trees ahead, we saw an opening, a small plateau. The undergrowth thinned, and the ground changed. The familiar dirt and rock of the forest floor gave way to flat, rough grey stones. They felt alien under my boots, like the exposed bones of the mountain. As we broke through the last line of trees, the girl's crying was sharp and clear. We emerged into a wide, unnatural glade. The ground was a pavement of that same grey stone, utterly barren. Not a single tree, not a blade of grass grew within its perimeter. It was a perfect, sterile circle of rock in the middle of a thriving forest. "Eleanor, where are you?" Reese called out, gasping for breath. Down here, a tiny voice squeaked from the center of the glade. In the middle of the stone circle was a low, raised lip of rock. As we got closer, my stomach plummeted. It wasn't a rise. It was the edge of a hole. A perfectly circular moor in the earth, maybe 7 feet across. The darkness inside it was absolute, a solid, light, drinking black. "Oh my God. Alina? Are you in there?" I shouted, my voice echoing into the abyss. "Yes." She sobbed from the depths. Her voice sounded impossibly far away. "Are you hurt?" I can't stand up," she cried. "Damn it," I muttered. "Reese, you pack any rope?" "No. You?" "No, Alina. Are you bleeding?" "I don't think so," she answered weakly. It's too dangerous, Reese said, cautiously tapping the edge of the pit with his boot. These rocks look like they're just stacked. We could cause a cave-in. I yanked my phone out. No service. Reese tried his. Same result. Reese, get back to the trail. Go as fast as you can and get help. I'll stay here with her. Got it. I'll be back, he said, and then he was gone, crashing back through the trees. Just hang tight, Alina, I called down. Help is on the way. As the sound of Reese's running faded, a heavy silence fell over the glade. Alina. Her sobbing had stopped. A few seconds ticked by. Please come and get me. Her voice was a fragile, pleading whisper. It's really dark in here. I clicked on my phone's flashlight and aimed it into the hole. The beam cut a weak cone into the darkness, eliminating maybe 10 feet of rough-hewn stone wall before being swallowed whole. I still couldn't see her. I promise, we are going to get you out. But it's not safe for me to come down right now. I don't have the right gear, and I don't want to make things worse. I felt a pang of guilt. The thought of her alone in that darkness was unbearable. I considered dropping my phone down to her for light, but if it broke, it would be useless to both of us. My mind flashed to my pack, sitting abandoned back on the trail. My headlamp was in the front pocket. So was a length of paracord. I could have lowered it down to her. I cursed myself for leaving it. Alina, listen. I have a better flashlight in my pack on the trail. I'm just going to go and don't leave me, she shrieked. It wasn't a plea. It was a raw, terrified, almost furious command that shot right through me. Okay, I won't, I said, my heart pounding. I'm right here. I won't go anywhere. Silence again. As I stared down into the hole, I noticed how unnervingly perfect the circle was. This wasn't a sinkhole. It wasn't a natural formation. The stones making up its lip looked placed deliberately. Alina, how did you end up down there? I fell. Did you fall from up here? Or is there another entrance somewhere? A beat of silence. I slipped and fell from up here. But there was no sign of collapse. No loose dirt or freshly broken rock around the rim. Maybe it was more stable than it looked. I can't climb out, she groaned. My leg hurts so bad. Can you please come down here with me? I'm so scared. I actually considered it. For a wild second, I thought about trying to climb down. But the hole was too wide to brace myself, the walls too sheer. It would be suicide. I really wish I could, Alina, but it wouldn't be safe for either of us. No response. Are you thirsty? I asked, remembering the water bottle clipped to my belt, the one Silas had given me. Yes. I unclipped it, holding it over the edge. Alina, can you see the opening up here? Uh-huh. Okay, good. I need you to move as far against the wall directly below me as you can. I'm going to drop this bottle down to you, okay? Okay. I listened for the sound of her shuffling or crawling. I heard nothing. Alina, did you move against the wall? I did. I hesitated. Are you sure? This bottle is kind of heavy and I don't want to. I moved, she screamed again, that same sharp, angry edge to her voice. Okay, all right, I mumbled, unnerved. I took a breath and let the bottle go, dropping it into the inky blackness. I braced myself for the thud of it hitting the floor, or a yelp if it hit her. Nothing, not a sound. Did you get it? I called out. Silence. Alina? Did you get the water bottle? Still nothing. A cold dread began to seep into my bones. Damn it. I hit her, I whispered to myself. Alina. I got it, she said calmly, a voice suddenly right below me. I let out a shuddering sigh of relief. Don't scare me like that. I laughed weakly, pulling out my phone again to check for a signal. Still nothing. I did the math. Reese had been gone for nearly an hour and a half. It would be at least another hour before he was back with help. I sat on the cold stone, a few feet from the edge. A wave of accomplishment washed over me. We'd found her. We had done a good thing today. My self-congratulation was shattered by a blood-curdling scream from the pit. "Shit, Alina. What is it? What's wrong?" "There's something in here with me," she shrieked again, pure terror in her voice. "Peter, there's something in here." "What is it?" "Sarah, what is it?" I screamed, my mind reeling. "Wait, did she say Sarah? Peter?" "I don't know. Please come down here, please, please." Panic overrode my confusion. "Alina, I'm going to drop my phone down to you. Use the light, see what it is." She just kept screaming. Acting on pure instinct, I ripped my boot off, peeled off my sock, turned on my phone's flashlight, and shoved the phone deep inside, hoping the wool would cushion the fall. I'm dropping the phone. "Try to catch it," I yelled over her screams, and let it fall. I watched the faint glow disappear into the void. A few seconds later, the screaming stopped. Abruptly. "Alina, did you get the light? What did you see?" Again, that unnerving silence. "Alina." "Answer me, please, I got it," she said. Her voice was flat, emotionless. "Is the light on? I can't see anything." A long, heavy pause stretched out. It broke. "That's fine. But you're all right now. The thing is gone." "Please just come down here, Lorne," she whimpered. I froze. The world tilted on its axis. Every hair on my body stood on end. "Alina, how do you know my name?" The silence that answered. "Answer me," I said, my voice trembling. "How do you know my name?" A small, playful giggle echoed up from the darkness. "It's on your bottle, silly." The blood drained from my face. That's not my bottle. A friend let me borrow it. Silas's bottle. It had his initials. SK scratched into the bottom. Not my name. There was no way. Reese never called me Lorne. No one did. "Come down here," she said. The voice was changing, a gravelly undertone creeping in like stones grinding together. "No. Come down here," it rasped, louder now. I stood up, stumbling backward, away from the pit. Down. Down here, help me. The voice was a discordant nightmare, shifting in pitch and timbre, mimicking a man's shout, a woman's scream, a child's cry, all at once. I heard a sound from within the pit that will haunt me until the day I die. A wet, scraping noise. Like something impossibly heavy with claws of bone was dragging itself up the stone walls. Down here, help here. It wasn't a human voice anymore. It was a legion. An abomination of sound that clawed at my sanity. I turned and ran. I ran blindly, crushing through the trees, the unearthly chorus of screams bellowing from the glade behind me. I tripped and fell hard, my hip smashing against a tree stump, sending a blinding shock of pain up my side. I scrambled back to my feet sopping and ran, limping, back the way I came. I don't know where I hit the trail. I just knew which way was down. I ran until the screaming faded, and then I kept running, my lungs on fire, until I saw a figure jogging up the mountain toward me, a ranger. "No, don't go up there," I gasped, clutching my side. "Whoa, son, calm down. You're safe. Are you hurt?" he asked, grabbing my shoulders. "I'm okay, but you can't go up there. That's not Alina. I don't know what that is, but it's not." "It's all right," he said, cutting me off gently. "Alina's safe. Your other friends found her an hour ago, halfway up the Vista Trail." He started guiding me down the mountain, his grip firm on my arm. The world swam around me. "Where's Reese?" "Did he make it down?" "Yeah, Reese and the rest of your group are waiting for you at the campsite. You all did good work today. We really appreciate your help." We walked in silence for a long time before I could form another question. "What is that place up there? That glade, that pit? What the hell is in it?" He sighed, a long, weary sound, and shot me a sideways glance. His face was a mask of strained neutrality. "Nothing you need to worry about anymore," he said with a smile that didn't touch his eyes. When we got back to the campground, it was being evacuated. Rangers were telling everyone the trails were closed indefinitely due to geological instability. Reese and Silas rushed over, their faces a mixture of relief and confusion. They had questions. I had no answers. We packed our gear in a blur and were escorted out just as they were locking the main gates. On the long, quiet drive back to Reese's car, I told them everything. Reese went pale. He said when he'd reached the ranger station and told them what we'd found, the lead ranger's face had gone ashen. He'd been ordered to stay put until they brought me down. We also learned why the real Elena had wandered off. She told her parents that she'd heard her mommy calling her name from the woods when she got up to use the bathroom. So she'd followed the voice. Silas still thinks it was some elaborate prank, or that I was hallucinating from exhaustion. But Reese knows. He saw that place. He heard that first cry. He knows what I heard was real. I haven't been hiking since. Sometimes, when the house is quiet and the wind is blowing just right, I think I can hear a faint voice, whispering from a long way off. It's a small voice. The voice of a little girl, lost in the dark. And she's calling my name.